You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
The Supreme Court just changed everything about American democracy based on an article by Robert Wright. The court didn't defend the Constitution, it reassigned power. What the ruling does. The source story is simple. The Supreme Court has moved to strip independent regulators of the insulation Congress gave them, using that authority to let a president install loyalists across agencies that were designed to resist exactly that kind of capture. The target is the FTC in principle, but the real object is the constitutional architecture that kept corporate power and presidential power from merging into one machine. Who actually holds power? The actors with real institutional power are not the commissioners, not the experts, and not the statutes Congress wrote. It is the court majority and the presidency it has empowered. The article is right to name the modern oligarchic class around them, but the decisive leverage is legal. A court willing to erase congressional limits and a president eager to use that opening. That is the political center of gravity here. The rhetoric of unitary executive is not neutral theory. It is a permission structure for consolidation. The weak are not the problem. The piece correctly rejects the comforting fiction that this is about administrative confusion or abstract constitutional cleanup. It is not. The harm is deliberate, and the beneficiaries are obvious. Independent agencies were built to restrain monopolies, financial abuse, labor retaliation, and regulatory capture. Removing their independence does not restore accountability. It lowers the guardrails around power that already has too much of it. The article's sharpest point is also its most inconvenient. When the court dismantles these agencies, it does not simply change procedure. It shifts who gets protected and who gets exposed. The legal language is a mess. Humphrey's executor is not being reconsidered in some innocent academic sense. It is being hollowed out. The court has been narrowing the precedent for years, and the 2020 CFPB decision made the logic plain. If the president can fire agency heads at will, then Congress's design becomes optional. The July 2024 immunity ruling pushes the same concentration of power in another direction. The source is right to call the energetic executive language what it is, a doctrinal alibi for executive supremacy. The court says this is about supervision. In practice, it is about control. The larger pattern is not just judicial hostility to regulation, it is the steady conversion of democratic checks into decorative props. Congress creates independent agencies to counter concentrated wealth. The court then treats that insulation as suspect. The presidency absorbs the power. Corporations get a friendlier state. The public gets fewer barriers between private greed and public harm. That is the system error. Institutions built to restrain domination are reinterpreted as illegitimate the moment they work. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Clara, thanks for listening.